Good morning, everybody. A couple people have asked about some of the functions in the chapter 2, so I figured this would be a good time to start maybe doing some recordings for you, just to give you kind of how I work through getting something new that I'm not sure how it works. So it's in this case, I'm also assuming that all of the resources that are available with the textbook haven't kind of made the connections click. So let's try to walk through this if statement. Okay. So in the homework, we're dealing here with step number 7 to insert an if function in E5 to calculate the total due. So basically what we're trying to do is say if this value in D is a yes and they're personalizing it, then we should apply the personalizing surcharge in, let's see, B21 at 5%. Okay, so there are a couple of things in here that can trip you up, and if anybody else kind of figured out a different way to do this, let me know. So anyway, the first thing that I'm going to do is go into that cell in E5, and then I like to start with the little function, the insert function, because this will give me a lot of help if I'm trying to build a function out, especially when I'm first learning how to use a function, which actually this was the first time that I've used an if function in any sort of recent memory. So I'm going to click on insert function, and you can see that you can search for a function. In this case, I'm looking for if, even though I see it down there on select a function. If I don't see it right away, I can search for it, and in this case I know I'm looking for an if function, so I go and then I can double click on it, and then it's going to bring us up this little box that asks us for our variables, right? It's in our function. So this first one, this logical test, and notice that it gives us some insight into what that logical test is any value or expression that can be evaluated to a true or false. So in this case, we are looking at C5. And what you can see is as I start typing here in this box, it's actually building the function for me. It's over here as if I were going to type it. Right? So I'm looking for a value in C5 and it says, oh, true. Okay, so my value, if it's true, okay, oh, sorry, that should actually be D5, right? And so now you can see D5 equals yes, okay? And then value, if true, I'm going to take that value that's in C5, and this is where a little bit of math comes in. I didn't find an easy way to change that 5% because 5% is in as text. To actually reference that cell. Instead, I went the route of just multiplying by 1.05, which, you know, it's old retail trick working the register, right? It's if I've got a percentage, 5% is 0.05, so multiplying something by 1.05 adds that extra 5%. Right? And the value, if it doesn't, is going to just be the value in C5. So if D5, okay, is going to give me yes, then that goes. Now down here at the bottom, notice my formula result isn't quite, it's not actually giving me anything yet. So in this case, I'm going to say, oh, I must have something wrong. So if I click this help on this function, what that's going to do is it's actually going to open up my browser for me and go right to the help page on the if function from Microsoft. So I don't even need to search for it up front, right? It just takes me there. So I can see here that there's a little bit of a difference, right? It's in there. So if the cell equals yes. Oh, so I need to actually put in a value for it. So if D5 equals yes, right? Oh, now notice that went from D5 and it was returning the word yes, now it returns the word true. Okay, so now see down here, formula result, I actually get that 525. Okay, so if I click OK, I can actually look now in my formula bar, and if D5 equals yes, in quotes, right? So I'm looking for that exact match. C5, that first value after the first comma is if it returns a true value, and the second value is if it returns a false. So you could just do a yes, no, is this a 1, is this a 2, you know, it's whatever it happens to be. So it's in that case, that formula is there, and now I can just click and drag down to drag that down, and we should see now that 500 becomes 525 because of yes. 650 becomes 682.5. We'll fix that in a second, right? But 750 with a no stays 750. 850 with a no stays 850. Right? And then, of course, the other thing that it wanted to do was format those. So I'm going to go ahead and format my cells. Format my cells. Under my number, I'm going to pick accounting. 2 decimal points, $sign, okay, and now they are dollar values. Okay, so that's setting up the if function, and hopefully a little bit of insight on how to work through formulas that you're not familiar with. Have a good day.